The day had ended and the night had begun. That's when I finally left Whiterun for the Western Watchtower. I had hoped that by waiting for so long, the dragon would have already been taken care of. But my hopes were too unrealistic. I arrived at the tower to find the guards had not investigated it yet, as they was waiting for me to arrive. I headed for the tower, and before long, the dragon arrived. I initially watched the brave soldiers of Whiterun attempt to fight the beast, but soon I felt a call to action. A call to take up arms and charge the dragon with the steel sword ready. Without fear I swung the weapon with such speed and ferocity, and soon found the dragon dead at my feet. The head guards told us all to move away from the dragon, as something strange happened to it, and I seemed to absorb its power. This finally gave me enough energy to speak the words I read in Bleak Vault Sparrow. One of the guards stopped and mentioned something about me being Dragonborn. I laughed in his face and left to tell the Jarl of what happened. As I ran to Whiterun, I continued to shout. I thought more and more about what the guard called me, Dragonborn. I have a book about Dragonborns that I took from the dungeons of Helgen. I saw that some of the crops were ready to harvest. I took this opportunity to take the potatoes, when a voice cried from the heavens. I quickly left the potatoes, thinking that I was caught stealing, and continued into the city. When I got into Whiterun, I saw some red guards talking to a guard about something. I did not care of the subject, and I shouted near them in an attempt to get their opinions on me being a supposed Dragonborn. They did not care, and the guard even told me to stop. So I left and went straight to the Jarl. I reported that the dragon was dead, that I killed it and deserved a reward. He agreed and gave me an axe, as well as making me a Thane of Whiterun, and even the service of a housecarl called Lydia. I then told him that I absorbed the dragon's power, and he advised that I go to see the greybeards near Ivarstead, and that they were the ones who called before. I turned to leave Dragon's Reach when I was stopped by Lydia. I told her that I did not have a house. I then left and didn't look back.
Until next time.
I ran straight to the Bannered Mare and bought a room for the night. I immediately went to sleep. The first thing I did when I woke was read that book about Dragonborns. It seems they were pretty powerful, so that was quite a big ego boost, and without a second thought, I left Whiterun on the journey to Ivarstead. I have a great idea to go to the stables and pick up a horse, as it should make the journey quicker. It's only 1,000 gold, which I guess is too much for me. I continued past the Honningbrew Meadery, which was when I was first attacked. A flame Atronach hurled fire in my direction. The fight was hard, maybe even more so than that of the dragon. When it was defeated, I found that it must have been created by a witch that was now dead. I continued following the path and the road signs, only having to draw my sword to eliminate common vermin, such as wolves and skeevers. I came across a tower and saw someone jump off it. I ran off the path to see if they were alright, but they had died on impact and were bandits, so they probably deserved it anyway. Moving back onto the road, a bandit stopped me and demanded I pay to pass without trouble. They did not live for many seconds after that, and instead of passing, I decided to take the fight to the bandits. If I could clear them from this area, I could not only make the journey easier, but I could even tell the Jarl and maybe even get some gold for it. Clear the few bandits that there were. All was well until I was met with a great sword wielding bandit chief. We commenced in a battle, not just off strength but with wit. I outsmart the stronger opponent by running around a table so that he couldn't hit me. It works like a charm. I then ran out across a raised walkway and battled against the inferior bandit archers. and I ransacked the second tower, taking what I would assume are valuable magical items from the chests. I began walking the stone road again as a changed man, now more confident in my fighting abilities, and I continued moving to Ivarstead. During the long road to Ivarstead, I first encountered a small army of Stormcloak that looked to have just been in a fight with some Imperials. One of the soldiers mentions that I should join their army, so I run to the Stormcloak commander to learn some more information. The commander then says that I'm trespassing, so I quickly leave, but not before talking to a dark elf that tells me that they're on a pilgrimage to a shrine of Azora. Maybe these Stormcloaks were following him for protection. I don't know, nor do I care, so I continue running along. Again, I pass another Stormcloak patrol. They must have control of whatever land I'm in. I could not imagine making my journey wearing that Imperial one. But this guy here dares to wear it despite the risks, and the fact that the patrol had literally just passed. At a junction of sorts, I came across a man who claimed to have been injured when bandits attacked him. The day was getting late, I was in no mood to play the hero, so I refused to help him, until wolves attacked. The man quickly jumped to his feet to defend himself, despite his supposed injuries. When the danger was dealt with, I went to leave, but I was a bit curious why the man couldn't get to the camp by himself, when he was clearly not injured. I followed close behind him. I readied my weapon after he said we were close to the camp and that he could see then, now. I was under the impression he was alone, hence why he needed help, and I was right to prepare for a fight, as he brought me into a bandit camp. I dealt with the man and his bandit friends, and checked around the camp, taking anything that I think could be of value. That was not a lot of items that fit this criteria. I see two people walking on the grass. I make a quick judgment before I approach them. They tell me they're vigilants of Stendar, or just people who hunt Daedra worshippers. I talked with them for a bit, learning who this Stendar was. These people proved to be capable fighters when a wolf attacked and was dispatched in 2 quick hits. I ask where they are based, put down the coordinates on my map, and run back to the path to continue the journey. I did not travel far when I am attacked by a giant spider. I fight it and obviously win, but after it was killed, the 2 vigilants came running, ready to aid me in combat. I thank them, but then run forward as I see yet another road sign. While I read it, I'm stopped by a thief who demands that I part with all my gold. I try to convince him that I have none, and the 2 vigilants walk past, not even acknowledging the robbery. Were they in on it? I tell the thief to get lost, and that's when they attack. I run to the 2 vigilants in hopes that they would take up arms against the thief. They did not, so I shouted at the thief to stun them, but the vigilants took offence to this, and they attacked me along with the thief. I prepared to fight all 3 of them, but I only end up fighting one of the vigilants while the thief fights the other one. I attack and perform a finishing move on the final vigilant. I look through their pockets and find a resist poison recipe. I take it because I think it could be useful in the future, and I also take away one of the amulets. Finally I arrive in Ivarstead. I cross the bridge and decide I'll look for an inn to hopefully spend the night in. The first building I check is the one I was looking for, so I go inside. I speak to the innkeeper and he tells me of a haunted barrow just outside the town. I couldn't care about this, so I just buy my room and sleep through the night. I woke up and immediately left the inn that was now full of stormcloaks. I went to leave the town and begin to climb the steps to High Hrothgar, but I became distracted, spent a couple of minutes staring at something that you would only see in Skyrim. Now that's all I'm gonna record for episode 3. Thank you all for watching and the support on this channel so far. I know it's not the best content, but hopefully it'll improve with time. Alright, goodbye.